Hello everyone, Jason Nissen here. I'm going to be talking about our model of scholarship of teaching and learning. This model comes from an article in the journal Biochemistry and Molecular Biology Education, Getting Started in the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, a how-to guide for science academics, by Susan Rolland and Paula Myatt. Our model has three simply named components to doing scholarship of teaching and learning: pre-implementation, implementation, and post-implementation. Easy to get right on the test. In our first step, we want to define clear goals. What is the purpose of our work? Why are we doing it? What is our goal and our outcome? What are our research questions? Then we want to make sure we take steps to adequately prepare for doing the research. Defining research questions, choosing appropriate methods, such not. We want to use appropriate methods in our data collection, in our analysis, in our interpretation of those results that we're drawing from the existing scientific literature. We go into the implementation phase. We want to engage in reflective critique, right? We're doing that early analysis. We're doing that early data collection. We want to discuss with our team members, how is this going? What's working well? What's not? What are we finding? What should we be looking at? What's really interesting to us? We want to look at, are these results meaningful to us? Are they meaningful to our colleagues? Would they be meaningful to others? And part of that is having a diverse team to share those results with and engage in that reflective critique. And then we want to make sure we're doing effective presentation when we're sharing those results. The last thing to keep in mind is that this is an iterative process, that what we learn we're going to bring back into the classroom, and then we want to continue this research process to improve outcomes for students. In the pre-implementation phase, the first thing that we need to do is generate an idea. This could come from things we've seen in the classroom, things we're curious about, questions students have asked, questions colleagues have asked. We're going to dig into the literature to formulate this idea. We're going to discuss it with colleagues. We're going to think about who would be good to collaborate with us about this idea. We're going to find the context. Often that's going to be our own course, but it could be someone else's, and we need to gain access to that context or to multiple contexts to answer our research questions. We'll design the study, deciding on the methods, drawing from that research literature, considering the participation rates and how many iterations we'll need to get the data we need. We'll consider and engage collaborators, particularly students, right, who can bring a unique perspective that can benefit our studies and our analyses. We might have to go looking for internal or external funding to hire or enroll help in the study. And then we want to lay out a project timeline and analysis plan and a dissemination plan so that we have goals that we can stick to. In this process, we're also going to have to do an IRB application and get peer review of the ethics of our study. And we don't want to limit ourselves to IRB. We want to share the study with our colleagues, with students, to try and get their feedback on potential ethical issues in our study design. And we need to be ready to make changes in response to that feedback. And lastly, once we've got the go-ahead, we want to make those last steps to prepare for implementation, finalizing our methods and implementation strategy, building or finding the tools we want to use, preparing our informed consent documentation, and preparing any delivery tools for these instruments. In particular, the online Lasso platform, which we also have videos for you to use about administering research-based assessments online for your courses. Then we want to move on to the implementation phase. First, we're going to implement the study, right? We're going to obtain informed consent, and we're going to implement all the tools and procedures, classroom observation, biodata collection. As we're collecting the data, we want to examine our in-progress results, right? We want to conduct our initial analyses, think about how's the data collection going, and if we need to, we can alter the methods to collect better data or to collect nuances to the research questions or new research questions that come up. Then we want to move on to the post-implementation. We want to analyze the results, analyzing the data using the appropriate methods. We might find that we have to adapt the study by either changing the scope of the research questions or expanding the data collection to more classrooms, more students, more time, or adding an additional instrument. And then we want to make sure we draw appropriate conclusions from the data that we have. Then we want to disseminate and critically reflect on the results. We want to workshop these results with our colleagues who are teaching in other courses or who engage in the study with us. We want to share the results with students and teacher participants to get their feedback. We want to meet with the implementers who may participate in collecting the data to see, like, how did the process go? This is the results. Does that align with your experiences? What are your thoughts? And we want to share the results with a wider audience and get feedback. This could be through presentations in our department or at our institution, or peer-reviewed presentations at national and international conferences, peer-reviewed publications, to get feedback from a broad audience. And again, we just want to remember that this is an iterative process, right? So once we go through the first step, we're going to repeat this process. We're going to share all of our results with multiple stakeholders. We're going to use their feedback. We're going to make time for using their feedback for critical reflection and consultation to implement new changes in our course before we go through this process again. Thank you for watching the video. Please check out the other videos we have on the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning and the research that you can do in your course.